Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'm Shorty Vaughn, and I just got back from Fry's and Albertsons. And at Albertsons, I did get all of my 87-cent 1 pound bags of vegetables. And I got corn, I got mixed vegetables, I got peas. I'm super excited. 87 cents is a great buy. And I am all out of freezer room. I'm stocked to the gills. We have been eating out of the freezer all week long, trying to make some room. Bought some ice cream, bought a brisket, and I'm out of room. And also, what I learned this summer when my freezer died is that these bags of vegetables, most of mine did not make it. They thawed very quickly while my meats were still very solid and very frozen. These little bags of vegetables did not make it. These were, a victim of my freezer failure, and most of them went into the trash. Probably about 10 bags. So probably about $8 to $10 worth of veg went bye-bye. So for me, these are great. I like the convenience of them, but I'm not willing to pay to store them in a freezer because I pay every day for that freezer to run. And I want to make sure that it is running for meats and things that I cannot easily replace. These vegetables are fairly inexpensive and can easily be dehydrated and then added to whatever it is you're cooking down the road. These are great mixed vegetables in a pot pie, in a soup, all kinds of things. Or you can just add a little hot water, nuke them up in the microwave for 6 minutes, and you're all good to go. So in my opinion, these are not worth the electricity to store them. But I want them anyhow, and I'm going to dehydrate them. And if you are new to dehydrating mixed vegetables, or these frozen bags of vegetables, I guess I should say, are a great way to get started because you do not need to blanch them. They've already been blanched. Frozen vegetables in these bags have been picked at the height of ripeness and frozen generally right after blanching, and they are very nutritious and very delicious, and they will rehydrate very rapidly. So we don't need to blanch these. We don't need to wash them. They have been washed. We don't really need to do anything. It's kind of a pour and go situation. So I've got my tray set up here. Let's go ahead and move you down and over. Got my cup covering the hole in the center. That's going to allow me to pour without them all falling in the middle and having to scrounge around at the bottom of the dehydrator. And I just want these in as much of a single layer as I can possibly get, because they will dehydrate more rapidly in a single layer. You don't have to cook these first. You don't have to steam these first. You don't really have to do anything to them. Like I said, kind of a pour and go situation, and ideal if you are new to dehydrating. So go get your 87-cent vegetables on if they're on sale at your Albertsons. And if they're not on sale yet, they probably will be. So watch your ads. Okay, so more or less these are in a single layer, and they're kind of pretty, and you can just fuss with them all you want until your heart's content, but I'm pretty happy with those. So I'm going to go ahead and put these corn on the bottom, and I've got the little insert trays here because these will be much smaller as they dehydrate. I don't want everything falling through. While I might mix them all up at the end in the same jar and store them all together, maybe. That's a definite possibility. It's just nicer when they're separated and they're not falling through the cracks and winding up at the bottom of the dehydrator. Some inevitably will. It's been my experience. And, well, we'll just fish those out at the end. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Okay, so we've got mixed vegetables. This one's corn, peas, carrots, and green beans. And I'm going to dehydrate these at about 125 degrees. And I might find it necessary to rotate the racks. What do you mean by rotate the racks, lady? So I might move the corn up to the top and the mixed vegetables down towards the bottom. However, it seems like they're dehydrating. And what needs a little bit more air, what needs a little less air, what's almost done. These won't require constant supervision. Just a little bit of supervision. You know, kind of like a 12-year-old. Just making sure they don't burn the house down. But pretty much they don't need your constant attention like a 3-year-old. And we've got a bag of peas. Andrew likes peas, he just doesn't know it. Oh, I forgot my cup. Okay. Andrew likes peas, he just doesn't know it. So one time his mother was trying to be fancy and she made a minted pea dish, and instead of using like a fresh mint product, she used like a peppermint extract, and that ruined peas for him for the rest of his life. But he will gladly eat them if they are inside something. He just does not want it as a side dish. But he does like them. He just doesn't know it yet. And that's fine. He's really not a picky eater. He will pretty much eat anything that I put in front of him. And in our household, if you don't like what's for dinner, peanut butter and jelly is your option. Okay. And I probably could get the fish tray on here, but I don't have another flexible insert for it. And that is unfortunate. I keep meaning to buy a couple of more trays because you can stack this very high, and then some more flexible inserts. But I just never seem to get around to it. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. And the cup in the middle, the cup covering the hole, I learned that from Bev over at our half-acre homestead. She's terrific. All kinds of good tips and tricks for you there. Okay. So really, you know what? It's just that simple. Now we are done. We're going to do the 4. I'm going to put the blank on the top. And I'm going to make sure that my blue lines are all together here, more or less, because I will go ahead and give them a quarter turn, just to make sure they've all got the same amount of airflow and what have you. So they will all get a rotated quarter turn. The lid, very simply, this is the dehydrating unit. It's got the fan, it's got the heater, it's got the temperature gauge. And like I said, we're going to do these at 125 degrees. We're going to throw all this in the trash can. We'll do something like that. And then we're just going to plug it in. And it's just going to sit here on the counter. Peas, carrots, and corn won't make an unpleasant smell in my house, so they are welcome inside today. And it's raining outside because we've had the craziest weather ever. It's been cold, it's been rainy, it's been windy, it's been just... I live in Arizona. Where's my sunshine? That's all I want. Anyhow, so, yep, that's it. We're dehydrating our vegetables, and then when they get done, I will put them in a large-sized mason jar. Like I said, I'll probably go ahead and mix them all up because they are going to be delicious in whatever I cook. And then pretty much the ratio for me is a 2-to-1 ratio. So for 1 cup of mixed vegetables, I think that you need just about 2 cups of liquid. So, yep, there you go. Dehydrating. Simple, it's easy, it's very cost effective, and we're not going to use any energy to store these. So storing my meats, storing some more valuable items, so to speak. It's valuable real estate to run the freezers. And while these are delicious, they're going to be just as good off the shelf instead of out of the freezer. All right, that's it for me. These are my wonderful little gems. I dehydrated them for about 10 hours. It was rainy here yesterday and cold, so we had a little extra humidity, but they're very dry. And I just popped a pea in my mouth a few minutes ago, and those were perfectly dry. The corn took a few extra moments, about an extra 20 minutes in there, because it was very moist, but they're all dry now as well. And this is the mixed vegetables. And the camera doesn't really reflect it, but they look like little gems. And I think they're beautiful. And I'm going to go ahead and put them into a mason jar with a tight lid and go ahead and put those up in dry storage for future use. But I think they turned out fantastic. Yay, hooray! And now they're all dismounted from the drying racks. I put them into this bowl. I think they look so pretty. And I was just thinking how great these would be in like a tuna noodle casserole or a chicken casserole. And you could package it like that. You could make like a little care package with it, with a can of chicken or a can of tuna, some of these dried vegetables, some dried noodles, a little mushroom powder, and then just a little, note that says, mix it all together, add water, add milk, stir, pop in the oven, bake it for, 20, 30 minutes, something like that, because you wouldn't have any potentially hazardous food. You wouldn't have to cook it to 165 degrees. You would just need to heat it through and rehydrate your vegetables. So I think that would be an excellent little care package. And don't they look pretty? Okay, all charred up. So it's a quart mason jar, and it is full all the way to the top. There's barely any breathing room, and it's hard to believe that you can smash 4 pounds of dehydrated vegetables into a quart jar, but you can. It's entirely possible. Yay, hooray, we're going to have that for a long time. I'm going to store it in a dark cabinet where it's relatively cool. My house is air conditioned in the summer, but what's cool to me in the summer, 82 degrees. The rest of you, it might kill you, especially when you're coming in from, 115 or so. But as cool as I can get it. So, yay, hooray! We've got dehydrated veg. I see tuna noodle casserole in my near future. Andrew sees a pot pie. We're going to arm wrestle over it. I'll let you know who wins. Also ready this morning was my sauerkraut. Took exactly 10 days. When I went in there this morning, I could instantly smell that it was probably going to be done. Had a good feeling about it. Grabbed a fork, took my protective leaves off and my jar out, took a bite of it and knew that it was fermented just enough for me. Yay, hooray. And so I went ahead and dismounted it from the, coffee mate container? The coffee mate container, absolutely. And then put it into this quart jar that had been washed, rinsed, and sanitized. And now I'm going to store it in the refrigerator. Should be good for up to 6 months in the refrigerator. I'm choosing not to can it. 1, because I only have the singular quart. Number 2, because I don't really care for my sauerkraut to be cooked. I like it to be crispy and delicious, and it will be from the refrigerator. That's where I'll store it safely, and If I lose any brine, which this had just enough brine, if I lose any brine, to make sure that it stays well hydrated, doesn't dry out, doesn't get funky, I will make a slight brine for it with bottled water and probably about 1 tablespoon of the sea salt, and go ahead and then top that off once it cools off, once the brine cools off, if it loses any brine when I'm, scooping it out. But I will try hard to keep as much brine in there as possible. There's no way this is going to last 6 months. I will enjoy it while I have it. And really the purpose of the video is that you can make sauerkraut in just about anything. Plastic, glass, so long as it's food safe. And all you really need is some great looking cabbage and some sea salt, kosher salt, canning salt. I don't recommend iodized salt. It'll be funky. But yeah, you just need some cabbage and some salt, a cool, dry place, and some patience. Patience is the important part. So this quart of sauerkraut cost me about $1.60. A similar product at the grocery store in the refrigerator section costs upwards of $7. So this is money well saved, well spent, and will be well enjoyed. Yay, hooray!